Hey guys, this is a video. I just want to be real with you about something. Really real with you. As you might know, a while ago, like months ago, I started working in the process of a song called my dog Sam wants to take over and be the star. And it's perfectly fine if he does. Because lately he's just been in a phase where he likes it. And I'm totally... What? Come here. Come here. You want to play? What if I go get you a treat? I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I had to get him a treat because he's in a very hyper mode, and getting him a treat gets him distracted so I can film. But basically, I started working on the song. At first I didn't release the name until I kind of had the song farther done. When I announced the song, here's the thing. At first, I didn't understand how big of a deal this song was. I thought it was just going to be another fun music video, fun song, like just something fun. And it turned into something kind of big. Well, basically, so immediately as I was in the process, because I announced it like the day that I started writing it. And this song is like, I'm not entirely written down if that makes, because basically I kind of switched it up twice. Well, 3 or 4 times. So let me explain. So I started working on the song, and then I didn't like what I had. I didn't like it one bit. I went like, because I had a very small amount. Basically, I had a small amount, and it was of I forget the concept or something, like some random concept. And then I realized at this point, I couldn't come up with anything that I liked that could add on to what I had. So that little bit never got used. And I just started from scratch. Because what I had was like kind of okay. But I went like, it's not like catching. It's not some that like, I feel like it sounds pretty good. Good. I'm actually about to tell you what I originally had. And then I went like, it's pretty good. It's just, I feel like it sounds like there's different types of songs. When music it's really hard, because to create, there's different levels. They're creating something good that people want to listen to. People want to come back. They want to watch that video multiple times. And that's kind of a goal. But then there's also creating something incredible and amazing. And like, that is the bigger goal. Like, if you get that, that means that you're growing from it, like, more subscribers, more, like, people following you, like, that's, like, the ultimate, like, goal. But then there's, like, the okay, where it's, like, not horrible, but it blends in with so many other songs. Like, it's not eye-catching. It's just kind of like, it's not horrible, but it's not bad. And that's what it was. It was didn't have anything about it that was catching and like that you guys would fully be into. And with my music, I try to make it stuff that I love. Well, yeah. And so basically then, and I went like, it was also really hard to come up with anything that went with what I had. I had 2 pages and that was, and I got the 2 pages memorized pretty much. So the original concept was kind of like a no hate, no bully theme which is good. I love that. But also, I didn't feel like it was the right, like, if that makes sense. Like, every time there's, like, for me, there's certain things that, like, I don't feel is, like concepts for songs that I don't feel is what is gonna work for me at that time, or I'm not gonna be able to come up with something with that concept at that time. Now, maybe in the future, yes. And so I did come out with the No Hate No Bully song, a very encouraging one, and you liked it. So yeah, but it was the time, like I. But thank you, by the way. That song came out like yesterday, and it's already like made me so happy. But I'm gonna give you the original 2 pager, which doesn't seem like 2 pages of lyrics, but it honestly, I write big, okay? I never been someone who can write letters really small. My thing is that I can write letters really big, ginormous, or I can go so tiny that you can't even see it. Like literally. Do I have some? Okay. Let's see, because I had this cute little thing. This is old. But I'm going to show you how tiny I write. Well, I kind of drew through the whole sentence, but that's fine. So that's how tiny I can write. But I cannot, I hate writing normal size and stuff, which for those, because you can't really see it, it says I love my fans, but because I do. So yeah, so let me read, or I'm gonna tell you what I wrote. So the original song, this is how it went. When you just know, and when you just know when someone's hating on you. You just know when someone's being rude to you. And you can't do anything about it sometimes. Just walk away and leave everything behind. Because they're jealous. And that was half of 1 page. Now the other half of the 1 page went da 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 da. It just kind of had like a little bit of like a beat almost. And that I did the rest of the page on that 1 page, and the other page, and the third, the top half of the other page, because they're jealous, and you know it, you know it, you know it, yeah. You can get hated on social media, in school, anywhere, that you know it, yeah. And that was another half, leaving one more half, which kind of just had a beat. And at that point, I went like, no, that wasn't, okay, what that had was good. I'll admit it's not my worst work ever. And then, but wasn't what I was feeling at the time. I felt like I couldn't think of anything that worked with it because at the time when I started on this, I was nowhere near as experienced as I am now with like writing songs. Like at the time, I maybe sat down and wrote like 4 songs. Oh, you and your dog bed. This is his old one, which he technically doesn't fit in. Well, it kind of, only when he's curled up, but right now he's curled up. Sam, you need your treat. Okay. But yeah, that was what I had. So I changed it, and this isn't what I want right now. Like now, I have a little bit more experience. Like for me, it's not always about writing the songs. Like I don't write a lot of the songs. Like I don't sit down pen and paper and write them. I'll admit that because I'm horrible at writing. I don't like writing. Writing is actually one of my least favorite things in school. That's why no one ever gets letters from me or in the mail. Like, literally, my family, my friends, no one ever gets a letter from me in the mail. Now, the only time I'll actually sit down and write something and kind of be outside is if it's birthday. Birthday, Valentine's Day, or let me think, there was one other. Father's Day or Mother's Day. Technically 2 others. I don't give cards for Christmas, but that's writing like cards and stuff, and it's like I can just kind of make it short, make it simple, but like put some thought in, and they'll like it, like that's kind of my plan. And for my mom's birthday is to make her a pop-out card, because I do these really cool pop-out cards, and they're like fun to make. And I made a video on it. So you can make one if you want to. But yeah, I'm doing that. I'm giving her 2 lip balms that I have from like a year ago, which honestly, these lip balms, I hate looking at. I don't like looking at them, okay? Because they go back to being told that I was having spine surgery, and that wasn't like a horrible moment. Like some people would be like, you were scared and all of that. That was not the case. It was that I kind of figured it was coming, and so I was like mentally prepared for it. My baby. Like last night he did something so cute that I'll tell you about in a second. And it made me like want to cry even more because I'll explain. Basically, I'm going to quickly explain the story. So last night, it hit me that my crush's birthday is coming up. I'm gonna be a hot mess. My sister's coming on that day, which is January 24th. It's my crush's big 13th birthday. I'm pretty sure. I'm a hot mess because birthday just make me sad. Like when it's mine or his. Anyone else's don't really that much. But like it makes me miss him even more. And I was just a hot mess already, like kind of wanting to cry, like freaking out in my head. And Sam did something so cute. He could tell. He could kind of tell. And he came up, laid down next to me, yawned, and then looked at me with like his face and looked all cute and wanted me to just love on him. And it was like that one, like it's that moment when you realize that your baby just loves you, even though he is a dog. But I call him Baby Sam because he's my baby and I love him. And he does that. Like, he knows when I'm upset or sad because literally that entire week that I thought, well, the 6 days that I thought I lost Bella and thought she was mad at me. Anytime I was crying, he was up there. He was trying to get me to love on him, throw his toys for him. And he does that normally, but he was like extra extreme that week. But back to the story. So like basically, then I changed the song. I forget what it was. It was something else. I changed it, and then I couldn't come up with anything with. I forget. At that point, it was some concept that I forget, and I couldn't come up with anything that worked with the concept that I liked. So that's when it got changed again. Then I changed it a third time because I couldn't come up with. I changed the concept at that point because I went like I can't come up with anything with that concept, you know. Then came the final change. So I changed it and went the third change, and it was gonna be about my dog Sam, which I love. And that's kind of around the timing. Well, no, that song came out way before. I changed it to like be how much I love Sam, and how am I supposed to make a long song that a good length song that people want to hear that isn't a copy of my other one about how I love Sam. I wrote 2 lines of lyrics. I'll read you those 2 lyrics because I also have them memorized. Right? I love my baby Sam. He's so cute and he makes me happy. That was the 2 lines, and I went like, sound too much like another song that I wrote. And I wanted this song to stand out, so I changed it finally. This was the final time that I changed it, and I went like, if I'm gonna change it, I want it to be something. And I gotta come up with something that I feel. Something that I can get a lot of lyrics from, make this a fabulous song. All of that, I have to really feel it. So I did. I went like, what concept do I want? And it hit me. I went like, losing my crush was a nightmare. It still is a nightmare. And like, I could make a song about that because that's the concept that I feel like I can come up with so many lyrics, like thousands of lyrics from that concept and make it work. So I started writing. At this point, it was like day 3 of writing the song. And I was starting on like from the beginning at this point. Things were going good. And good. It took me like over a week. And I really pushed myself to start writing. And by the end of the week, I went like, this is good. I want to definitely add a little bit more, create like this dramatic ending. And I kind of did. And I did. And so, which was really cool. And there was a little bit of lyrics in there that were like kind of mixtures of different things that just worked. And then by the end of it, I went like, well, we still need a title. We still need a lot of stuff. And by this point, I had got Bella involved. Now, here's the thing with Bella. I may not let her do it. At this point, I'm really questioning it for 2 reasons that I'll get to in a minute. For a few reasoning, and I'll get to that in a minute. So basically, I'm like, great. And so I FaceTimed Bella, told her all about it, and she was with a friend. And they were like, this sounds good, like, we're totally in, and I'm like, great. Like, I was so shocked because I never worked with anyone but Bella or Skylar on a music video. at the time, I literally hadn't even worked with Skylar yet. I don't. Wait, maybe I have. I'm trying to think. Did I start on? Yeah, I started on the song before. Okay, yeah, it was before my 1 year on social media, I think. So this song's been in the works for almost a year. Like, it's been in the works for a while. And then I don't think her friend is doing it, but like, because I don't know the situation, if I know from Bella, like, if her friend wants to, I'll totally let her. But it also comes down to that, like, I have to do what's best for my social media life. Well, then I got the complaint. The complaint from Bella. This one wasn't a horrible complaint, but it definitely taught me a lot, which was we were on FaceTime one day, and we were gonna do rehearsals for the music video, because I wanted to like maybe do a dance, but I didn't know if I wanted to like try to choreograph a dance or like not do that and just let everyone have fun and like just really be in it, because no one was being paid, it was really like a fun thing. So, well, Bella hops on FaceTime, and she's like, "Sorry, but I can't do it today. Like, like I'm going to a friend's house, but we can talk for like 1 minute." So we did, and she put in a, she was like, "You need to be a lot more tough." Sam, do you want to leave? Come on. Yeah. And what it was, the complaint was that you need to be more tough on us because not him taking care. But yeah, it was that you need to be more tough on us because I like being nice. I like here's the thing. Ultimately, going into this, I knew I was in charge. This is my social media life. I'm in charge. And at first, I kind of let Bella be like an assistant, and we're gonna put like an assistant kind of in this. Like, she definitely had a lot of advantages. She got to work a lot with me kind of through FaceTime. But my thing is being a boss, which even now I'm still in charge of the music video. And there's a lot that I learned over this. But at the time, my big priority, I was too focused on the other priority than what the main thing that I needed to be doing was, which was that I like my people that I work with to have fun. I like to make sure everyone's having fun. I like to make sure everyone feels included. I also like to make sure that everyone kind of gets to do what they want in a way that also works with, well, at first it was entirely what they wanted and made sure that happened. And then the final thing was that I wanted everyone to be themselves. Then over time I learned that's not always what's gonna have to happen. And so I learned what needs to happen. And part of that what happened at that point was I gave Bella like 2 jobs. Yeah, the first one was to come up with the title because I was, at this point, I had a whole new beginning to the song. So I added a whole section of lyrics that I came up with one night that are not written down on paper, but that's what you heard as a sneak peek, was the section. Because I went like, it works because this kind of happened because Bella basically, I gave her 2 jobs. The first job was to come up with the title. Second job was to FaceTime me. 2 very simple jobs. And I started almost letting her slide, if that makes sense. I letting her slide so much to the point where it just wasn't working. Like, it was so much because I was wanting to work on this video to get it to be the best that it could be. And here she was not doing her job of FaceTiming me. Like, for me, I would be fine if she were to, like, kind of, like, text me or call me and be like, hey, can we work on it some other time, like, maybe next week? Like, I'm busy this week, like, because I get Bella's a busy person. She's either hanging out with friends and having sleepovers, playing outside, playing inside, doing homework, doing schoolwork, eating, and watching YouTube or TikTok, because she does do that. Like, she's always doing something is the point on this, like, always. You're never gonna just talk to Bella. Like, it's very rare if you get to, like, FaceTime Bella. First up, that's rare to even get a hold of Bella. Like, I get that maybe once a month. Second up, and if she, to get a hold of her and to actually sit down, like, kind of have a conversation with her and her, like, be sitting, like, just doing something very chill. It's very random, considering I once FaceTimed her as she was in a box, sliding down the stairs. Don't worry, it was supervised, everything was safe and stuff, like. So basically, that was kind of a big thing, but she wasn't. So at that point, I went, well, I'm gonna do her a favor. I'm gonna take one of her jobs off, and I'm gonna come up with the title. So that's when I came up with the title. I wish I would have told him sooner, and that gave me the beginning, which worked because the beginning that I had was good, but it seemed more like a middle part of the song or something. And so then at that point, what happened was, I want to say, another like couple weeks passed and there was no sign of Bella. At this point, and I very much like didn't know what to do. I was letting her slide a lot, and it hit me. I went like, I gotta follow up with what she said, her complaint. And she was never dropping out of the music video, all of that stuff was not happening. She just had one complaint, which was, or one request, which was for me to be a little bit more tougher and take charge and be a boss. Because this is my social media life. Well, then, and so I thought about it and I went, well, I gotta do this. So how can I do this? Because without hurting people's feelings. And like, well, the only person that's doing it is Bella and maybe her friend. Don't know about her friend. Well, then what happened was finally, I talked it over with my dad because he's good at like taking charge, and I like needed something to like really get me to take charge. And like, the best thing would be to honestly make sure that she knows you're in charge. And I'm like, how? And he's like, call her, text her, FaceTime her, and tell her, I'm in charge. You're not. You either follow my rules or you don't get to help. And I'm like, that's what I kind of needed. I needed someone to tell me that what I was doing was wrong and I needed to take charge. Because at the end of the day, it's not her social media life on the line. She basically straight up told me before she doesn't really run a social media life, that she does it just for a little bit of fun. I do it because I can make a career out of it. I can become famous. I can do all the stuff and it's gonna be good. So one day when I do sign with like someone like Nickelodeon or something, which is kind of like at the point, I want to definitely sign with someone big like Nickelodeon or something. So yeah. Then it became this thing. So basically at this point, it was a hot mess, like things were a hot mess. So I texted her that day and I went like, so that day I texted her and I told her I'm in charge. You can choose to do the music video, but I can also do it without you, if that makes sense. And just kind of lay down the law. Didn't hear from her for like another 2 weeks. We FaceTimed then and I explained that I'm in charge. You're gonna follow my rules. And at this point my rules were kind of changed, which was that I want you to have fun. That's definitely something. I want you to be yourself. That's definitely something. And I also want you, if I tell you to do a job, I want it done, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna demand a little bit from you. So when I look at you and tell you straighten that leg or turn your feet out or something, and you fix it, because this could potentially launch my social media life. Or it could just, at that point, it wasn't really that. It was more the thought that this could prove that I can make a fabulous song. And I just was focused on this being a fun song that you got proud of. And then, and she went like, so I went like, you have to make the choice. You have to make the choice. Are you gonna do it or are you not? And she went like, I'm gonna do it. Because it's fun, because we love working together. Me and Bella are good at it, but when there's distractions, we're horrible at it. No, it's because she becomes distracted sometimes, and you sometimes just have to lay down the law with her and show, you can't tell her you're in charge. For me, when it comes to working on the music, at first she was just getting distracted doing other things, living life, doing cheerleading, all of this, until I finally told her I laid it down straight, and I said, you know what, this is my social media life. If you don't follow up on your end, and you don't follow up on your end, and you don't get to do it. And because of this reasoning, I'm gonna write something down in a minute. And it will do it in a minute though. Which I'll explain. But basically then, on top of that, it was kind of like I had to show her a little bit. Because she kind of knew that. Knowing me, I would go back and just I let her slide. I still to this day let her slide. But I also asked her, I went like, hey, do you know what your friend's doing? And she's like, I don't know. To this day, we'll find out soon, hopefully. Only, we'll find out soon. Honestly, at the point she went like, I don't really know because I haven't seen the friend in, a while. So, but also, I'm basically at the point we think she'll do it if we can get a timing that her and Bella are, together, that they can just send me 2 30-second videos. Although for Bella, I might change it to 1 30-second video. I'm debating. I definitely need to talk with her about something because she hasn't really held up on her, and ultimately the music video becomes so much more now. So, the next day was a Wednesday. It was either a Wednesday or a Saturday. I'm trying to think. I feel like it was a Wednesday. I'm not sure. Or I know it was either Wednesday or Saturday because I was watching a Success with Jess podcast. And they only come out on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And it was called music videos, and they talked a lot about what it takes to do a music video, and I learned a lot from it. At that point, one of the biggest things I learned was don't be afraid to reach out, because the worst that people can do is say, no, I don't want to do it. So at this point, I straight up got on Instagram and I DM'd so many people. I DM people that I watch on YouTube. I DM people, some of my own followers, or and stuff. And I just asked them. I said, hey, I'm Lolly. Nobody being paid, but I'm doing a music video. If you want to do it, be a backup dancer, and I kind of laid out what it was. And I got one no, and 2 yeses. So, a lot of, but in fairness, at the time, I didn't have a lot of followers, on Instagram, so I did have, only 3 people replied to me, which was totally fine. And the first person and straight up said yes. They went okay, this is a yes. Yeah, I need to know what I need to do. And I'm so basically at this point is when I came up with kind of what my contract was going to be. And no one actually officially signed a contract. Technically, when they said yes, they allowed, it's not really a contract because you can easily leave at any point and stuff, but it's a thing. It's basically, I call it Lolly's Rules. And when you said yes to doing it, and yet you agreed to follow the rules, which meant, and that if you were gonna, if something happened and you didn't want to do it anymore, you would let me know. Not the day that we're last minute finishing touches sort of thing, but you will let me know. Before it comes out, you will know. Probably you'll know at least 24 hours in advance, or somewhere around there when it is coming out. And basically, and once it's out, you can't say, oh, you need to take it down because I don't want to be in it anymore. Once it's out, because you already agreed, which is totally a reasonable thing. And the only other thing was that you had to you had to pick either 1 30-second thing or 2. And then you had to ultimately film it, in one of this, everyone got 2 scenes. And so, like, you had to, like, film it, and in one scene, you had to use, like, this one emotion and this one move, like, as, like, an ending or somewhere in there. But the other scene, you had to use this other emotion, but you could create your own dance, your own costume, as long as it wasn't inappropriate, and, like, family friendly, like just normal, reasonable rules, but also that you have to understand I'm in charge. So that's what I'm gonna write on paper. Is each person and like I letting like it's just so I can have papers like saying, okay, these are the people doing it. These people all agree to the rules. We're good to go. And then and another group actually said yes. And they went like, okay, we can do this. Like I rate everything was working out, and then we got the no. It was by a fan, and ultimately this wasn't a sad no. Like, yes, they would have been fabulous in this music video, but like, still, like, basically, like, what happened was that they were busy, like, a lot happened to where, like they were busy and that there was just a lot going on and that it wasn't gonna, like, be the best thing for them, and that's totally understandable. I get that, like, no big deal at all. And so, like, I wasn't upset, but they said it in such a nice way because at the end of like the DM, they went but good luck on your music video. I hope it does really good. And I'm like, you're making me want to cry. Like I was so happy. They were just being so nice. Like even though they turned me down, like they were being nice. And like I to this day, like occasionally. They definitely, I gave them the win. So the night before the song, I wish I would told him sooner comes out, we're doing like this live stream thing, and only people who are in the music video, which are pretty much the only people who are gonna want to, and this one fan, and are basically, I'm gonna do a live stream. We're all gonna hop on, we're gonna have some fun, and it's like a little celebration. And and that same day I started like I have to like let Bella know so like things can just be cooperated. Like I have to let Bella know although I'm in charge, but just so she knows that like I that there's more to it. Like that it's not like she can like skip. Like because no one else is skipping. And like if they're told to do a job, they're doing it, which hasn't really happened yet. Like a few things, but like for the most part it's fabulous. Like then I decided I knew so some time passed, still didn't get a hold of Bella. I started getting really upset at the point with her. Like upset and annoyed. Bella is my best friend, but she does not get all these extra advantages anymore when it comes to a music video, especially since I don't need her at this point. Like, well, I need her in my life, obviously, because she's my best friend, but like, I don't need her in the music video at this point, but I really want her in it. Because she's my best friend, and this started as a me and Bella project, and now it's gone to like something so big. Well then, and yeah, so like this was like the second or third day, and then, and I'm like, I don't know if I should like take her out of the music video or what I should do. Like something needs to happen. I can either take her out of the music video, tell her she's not doing it, or I could take away one of her scenes, which ultimately might be what happened. Because she was doing 3 scenes. She was doing 3. The reasoning was because she was also playing a bigger part, if that makes sense. I chose her for the bigger part because it makes the most sense, and because first it makes the most sense because our personalities are the most alike, and I feel like we know each other the most. So for anyone to play the part, it makes sense to have her. Also, she has a lot of my old clothes, because, like, when I grow out of clothes, it goes to her, Skylar. And Skylar will probably have, like, one scene, because she is probably going to come by, like, somewhere in spring. Like, spring. Which is going to be good. And if she wants to, I'm not forcing her to. But yeah, like, wait, that would make sense. She might be the person that keeps liking all of my videos. Cause like, she did say she was gonna subscribe and stuff, so. And someone keeps liking all of my videos, and so that could easily be her. If so, thank you. Keep it up because it makes me look good. Because ultimately I am good. And like, I'm not a horrible person, but like, it helped my career a lot. You know? And so, but Bella playing the part of younger me because it also made the most sense because Bella is close, like, I'm kind of close to the age. She's 8, and I met my crush when I was 7, but I didn't really come out and tell anyone. I told no one for like a year. So when I was 8 is when I told only my dad and Bella's sister. But then, and because this is kind of the time I'm like the younger me in the music video is kind of the time that like it's the time that like I really started telling people. Like I started telling more people, at this point it had been 2 years, so it made the most sense. That was kind of part of why I wanted to wait a while was so Bella could be closer to age 9, because when I was 9 was when I started telling people and stuff. And so that was a thing. And all of a sudden the person DM'd me that like doing the music video, and they're like, I'm a little nervous, and I'm like, it's okay, like, I have a great fan base, like, my fans are incredible, like, no reason to be nervous, like, I get it, like, and, because I think what was happening with that, they thought was going to be this big deal that it turned into, but at the time it wasn't, and I was like, you don't really need to be nervous, like, because at this point my biggest worry was if they drop out, which would be sad for me, but also at the same time, like, I would never force someone into something, And so it became this big, well, yeah, and then they went like, well, that's good, like, I won't, like, decide, I don't even have comments on my channel, so, like, I, so, like, no one can directly hate on people in the comments because I don't have comments, which is kind of sad because I love reading your guys' comments and stuff, which never happened, but like the 2 times that it did happen when I had comments, because I joined social media at like the worst time. It was actually kind of a horrible time because YouTube was starting to make their changes and stuff, their massive changes, like taking away comments and different, and I was lucky that like I didn't get hit as soon as some people did, So basically what happened was, and they were like, well, that's good, like, it's just good to know that, like, I'm working with someone good, and I'm like, that's why I wanted to hear that, because then it would tell from someone that I deal with a lot, like a fabulous person that's friends with Annie LeBlanc, like, well, Jules LeBlanc. Like, I keep saying Annie LeBlanc because it's easier to spell for me, or I'm just used to spelling it, but Jules LeBlanc, because Annie LeBlanc changed her name and stuff. And at first I thought that was a scam because anyone can say that they're friends until she sent me an actual photo of her and Jules LeBlanc, like, at a restaurant, and also on her page there is a photo of her in, like, her house, so, like, I know it's not a scam. And you could tell that's not Photoshop because you can't Photoshop something that, like, where you're that close, you're like, like touching and stuff, like, not inappropriate, like, like your shoulders are touching at, like, a restaurant table, like, as you're, like, maybe eating lunch or something. So then, basically, then they looked at my page, my YouTube page, which makes sense. And gave them the name, everything. They found it. They went like, wow. And then they pulled up. They took a screenshot of a video and went like, wow, you get a lot of views. And I'm like, so I clicked on the screenshot to see, and I'm like, it was my one video that actually did good. The splits video. I'm thinking about making a part 2, but I haven't improved on my splits. With the thing, I really want to for the views, kind of, and also because it's good, like, flexibility work for me, but also, like, I haven't improved on my split because I kind of just got overwhelmed working on too much stuff at once, flexibility-wise, so I switched to my leg hold. It seemed like it would take less work, but also because I have a hanging stretcher that helped me a lot with that. So it seemed like a good start. So I switched to that. So, like, my splits have not improved. They've probably gotten worse. So then they went like, so I replied to them and I went like, sorry, that was just a once in a, that was just a lucky shot. Like, it was literally a lucky video that happened to do good. And they were like, well, how much do you usually get, like, views? And I'm like, to get 12 views is amazing for me. But now, like, 12 isn't, like, that amazing anymore because now I, like, actually have a base and it's, like, pretty good. So, like, now getting 12 views is easier than it was then. And, since now I'm growing on social media. And they were like, but at the time, 12 views was, like, amazing. And they were like, well, we're gonna make this music video, and we're gonna make it incredible. We're gonna make you be more known in the social media. And I'm like, I thought about it and I went like, that's what I need. Like, so basically at this point, I started getting nervous. And so now that it's getting closer, and it's getting closer, I'm like freaked out kind of because the music video isn't like a music video anymore. Like, yes, it is a music video, but it's launching a song that I put a lot of hard work into, launching a music video that I put a lot of hard work to. I'm still putting work into, and it's also taken so long. I feel like I definitely hyped it up. I told a lot about it, and now I feel like if it's not what you were thinking, I feel like if it's even slightly less, that you're all gonna be like so disappointed and like dislike it and stuff, and I'm gonna like be so sad because like all this work like went for nothing. But I'm trying to keep positive and just go into it positive and know that if it doesn't do I'm gonna be crushed. But I'm just gonna learn to live with it and go into it thinking that I'm gonna go into it with some hope that will do good. So then, and at this point, I definitely was working with this other group of backup dancers and stuff, and like then we kind of just decided since they needed a lot of time, because basically this happened, and within 2 weeks, it seemed like I was going too fast, and I needed to break myself. But also, I need to give them time, everyone time. And so at this point, I went okay, we're not gonna launch it until summer. The beginning of summer, we will launch it. And so that's the plan, kind of. But at this point, it's I'm probably just gonna take away Bella scene or have a good talk with her. Because something needs to happen. Because something, I don't really know the plan with her. I just know that I can't let her slide. And I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous about it. But I'm not telling my backup dancers that I'm nervous. Because this isn't what it started as. This is me coming out and saying and it's launching myself. If that makes sense. It's making and it's supposed to hopefully make help me a lot with subscribers. Hopefully we can get a lot of subscribers from it. But also on top of getting a lot of subscribers with it, I want it to do good. I want to definitely get some views and help launch me as a social media person. I'm gonna end this because this is getting long. But yeah, so something needs to happen. So I'm gonna in this, I'm gonna write down just each person and stuff and kind of what they're just so I have kind of just write it all down what the backup dancers already agreed to.